to my channel. If you clicked on today's video, then you already know what today is. Today is Foundation Friday. I think y'all are pretty much aware that I did make some changes to Foundation Friday, where I really wanted to go in depth when it comes to foundation. Like, we really are aiming for complexion perfection. So today's topic is primer needed or not with your foundation? A primer pretty much is a barrier between your skin and a foundation. You can kind of look at it as a protective layer. Some people feel like you absolutely need a primer. Some people feel like you don't. Primer comes in all different types. They're not just one size fit all. You typically would pick out a primer depending on your skin type. Primers come in matte versions. They come in hydrating, dewy. Like, you can find a variety of different primers. But on my channel, I really want to test out whether or not if primer is absolutely needed in the longevity of your foundation, how it lays, how it wears. I personally feel like you need a primer just because it is a protective layer, and you don't really want to be putting foundation, I feel, on top of bare skin, because after a while that gets down in your pores and then you will have acne and you just don't want to do all that. But I do know some people who don't wear primer at all and they don't have any issues with their skin. So I'm not testing out whether or not if it's bad for your skin. I'm testing out whether or not does it make a difference in your foundation. So let's just get right into this video. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is put primer on the right side of my face, and then on the left side is a side that I will not prime at all. So I'm going to start with the primer on the right side, and today the primer I'm using is the Givenchy mattifying primer. Actually, whatever your skin type is, you would always try to find a primer that caters to that. I have oily skin, so I always go for a matte primer. It depends. Every now and then I really won't use a matte primer, but overall my preference is a matte primer. And already on this side of my face, you can really see how this mattifies. Like, this mattifies your skin right away in comparison to the side that does not have a primer. This side definitely looks more blurred. It looks a little more filtered, especially in my T-zone area. For foundation, I am going to be using the Time for Traceless foundation stick, and this one I have the shade 10 Chestnut. So now I'm going to apply the foundation to the left side of my face, which isn't primed. So this is what my face is looking like once I finish putting concealer, bronzer, powder, everything that you usually put on your face after foundation. Right now I don't see any difference. Like, looking at myself, one side doesn't look more matte, other side doesn't look more oily. When I first applied the foundation, yes, I do feel like this side looked a little more matte, but right now it looks pretty much the same. And just in case if you forgot, this is the side that is primed and this is the side that isn't. So a full day with this foundation on just to really see if primer is needed. Now, I personally feel like you should wear primer, but I just want to see, like, does it really make a difference in the way your foundation wears? Like, does it hold up better or not? So we're going to have a clear-cut answer by the time I come back. So I'll see y'all in a couple hours. All right, y'all, so I'm back after a couple hours. The side of my face is the side with the primer, and the left side is the side that doesn't have any primer. On both sides, I am a little shiny around my nose. That's the typical spot where shine comes through at anyway. But this side is definitely a little more matte than the side without the primer. Outside of that, I do feel like my face looks pretty much the same exact way. After this little experiment that I did, I really feel like a primer is not needed. But having a primer really, I guess, would be just your preference on whether or not you want to wear one or not. Me personally, I feel like a primer is needed. I mentioned that earlier in the video. So I guess, again, it really just depends on whether or not you want to prime your face with the primer. Because honestly, my face pretty much almost looks the same. It's just, this side is just a little more matte. It's not even that much of a difference. But at the end of the day, wearing a primer is pretty much a personal decision. It's your preference on whether or not you feel like having a primer really makes a difference in the longevity of your foundation. Because to me, I don't really see a difference. So honestly, at this moment, I personally feel like that a primer technically isn't needed. Do I really see that big of a difference in my face where I feel like, oh my god, I have to always wear a primer? No. But I do feel like I want to wear a primer just because I want that barrier between my skin and the foundation. I wear a lot of foundation. I'm testing out a lot of foundations, and I feel like if I constantly did that, just put a foundation on top of bare skin without that primer in between, my skin probably would be a mess. So it's a personal choice at the end of the day. So the whole point of this video was to figure out whether or not if a primer is needed. I don't feel like it's absolutely needed in someone's everyday makeup, but me personally, I choose to wear one. Let me know in the comment section, do you feel like a primer is needed or not? And y'all, that is basically it for today's Foundation Friday. Y'all don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.